On Global TV News Express, President Tinubu highlights success stories, assures on renewed hope agenda. And in business, federal government threatens to disconnect generation companies from power grid. And on the foreign scene, Putin defends Ukrainian invasion at China summit, blames Western influence. In sports, Super Eagles open camp as Rwanda arrive Tuesday. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu has assured Nigerians that his government is resolute on delivering the dividends of democracy as promised when he took over power. In a post shared on his verified X handle, the president highlighted some of the success stories of his administration under the Renewed Hope agenda, emphasizing that his top priority is to serve all Nigerians and not a section. Tinubu described the success stories of Lagos-Calabar Highway in the south to the Sokoto-Badagry Super Highway in the north, and Port Harcourt-Maiduguri Rail in the east to Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Expressway in the center as national assets and not local trophies. Vice President Kashim Shettima says the visit of his Colombian counterpart, Francia Marquez, marks the beginning of a new era in relations between Nigeria and Colombia. Speaking at a gala dinner held at the presidential villa in honor of the Colombian Vice President, Shettima said the visit is proof that both nations are set to enter a union that would foster deeper political cooperation and broader economic virtues. The Vice President said Marquez's visit to Nigeria is expected to deepen diplomatic and strategic relations between Nigeria and Colombia, as well as enhance collaboration in the areas of mutual interest, including governance, trade, agriculture, energy, education, and security, among others. The House of Representatives has denied an alleged plot against the Speaker, Abbas Tajuddin, over delays in constituency project funding, describing the claims as misleading and based on informal conversations taken out of context. A statement by its spokesman, Akeem Rotimi Jr., says the House has faulted a media report which suggested that discontent over unpaid constituency projects was threatening to trigger a showdown against the Speaker. Rotimi noted that the report alleviates isolated remarks and informal conversations from House WhatsApp group, as if they represent the official position of any House caucus or the House itself. Over now to the federal government has again warned Nigerians to steer clear of get-rich-quick and Ponzi schemes that continue to defraud unsuspecting citizens of their hard-earned money. The Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) said such schemes are illegal and unsafe. Our correspondent Obong Usoro brings you the details.
The Securities and Exchange Commission, through their Director, Legal and Enforcement, Franka Chukwugo, is sounding the alarm over the rising number of unregistered investment platforms promising outrageous returns. According to the Commission, Nigerians have lost over 300 billion naira to Ponzi schemes in the last 5 years. Under the new Investment and Securities Act 2025, anyone caught promoting or operating unlicensed investment schemes risks a 20 million naira fine, a 10-year jail term, or both.
This issue and this menace of Ponzi scheme is now affecting and spreading all over, and they're collecting a lot of money, especially from the traders in the market. So today we thought it's important as part of our investor education program to come to the market to sensitize them, so that if anybody is floating any kind of investment scheme or asking them to part with their money, they will know what to do.
Charles Jackson, who spoke to us, narrated how someone invested the money he gave for business, thinking he would get returns, adding that such schemes are fraudulent.
I give 15,000 to do my license for me. He collect money for many people, put it for looking for interest or something, so he cannot make it. So we come and tell us to come tomorrow, come next tomorrow, come tomorrow, next tomorrow. So at last, they advised me to go and report him for Usage Zone 3. That's where they give me my money from.
Innocent Bariko said that Ponzi schemes are traps, adding that Nigerians should avoid any scheme that promises huge profits with little or no risk.
You don't need to invest in all those things that maybe one day everything will go out, then you end up getting anything.
So I advise that people should refrain from it and then invest properly where you can have benefits from.
The SEC says it's already investigating 79 suspected Ponzi operations nationwide and has blacklisted 10 fraudulent platforms this year alone. Officials warn that while these schemes often disguise themselves as crypto, forex, or digital assets, they are simply designed to collapse once enough money is collected. Ubong Usoro, reporting for Global Television.
Nigeria's Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, has called on African governments to coordinate their efforts in building artificial intelligence infrastructure and governance, stating that without such collaboration, the continent risks widening its already yearning productivity gap with the rest of the world. He made the remark at a 4-day technology event aimed at accelerating digital transformation and innovation across the country. Tijani drew parallels with architecture. While Nigeria produces about 2.5 tons of maize per hectare, compared to 6 tons in South Africa and 12 tons in Brazil. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has publicly acknowledged the ongoing financial and operational challenges facing several Nigerian diplomatic and consular missions abroad, citing budgetary constraints and foreign exchange policy shift as key contributing factors. In a statement by the ministry's spokesperson, Kinebi Befa, the ministry admitted that the financial strain has disrupted the smooth running of missions, including delays in paying local recruited staff, service providers, rent and allowances for home-based officers. Befa noted that these missions are not exempt from the broader economic realities affecting Nigeria, noting that the budgetary shortfalls over the years have significantly hampered the effective functioning of missions and their ability to fulfill core diplomatic responsibilities. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening Nigeria's health financing system to ensure universal health coverage for all citizens. Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Isiaq Salako, gave the assurance in Abuja at the National Health Financing Policy Dialogue, said the forum was crucial for shaping the country's future health financing landscape. Salako noted that the dialogue underscored Nigerians' determination to prioritize citizens' health through innovative and sustainable financing mechanisms. Still on, the federal government says it has completed a comprehensive review of school curricula for basic, senior, secondary and technical education aimed at making Nigerian learners future ready. The Ministry of Education disclosed this in a statement signed by its Director of Press and Public Relations, Barawo Falashade. Said the Minister of State for Education, Professor Sowuba Ahmed, announced the curriculum on behalf of the Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Alausa, while speaking in Abuja. Ahmed noted that the review was carried out in a collaboration with key education stakeholders, including the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council, the Universal Basic Education Commission, the National Senior Secondary Education Commission, and the National Board for Technical Education. The federal government has signed 1-year performance contracts with all agencies under the Ministry of Interior, which include the agencies are the Nigerian Immigration Service, the Nigerian Correctional Service, the Nigerian Security and Defense Corps, Federal Fire Service, and the National Identity Management Commission. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, who supervised the signing of the performance contract after a 3-day retreat in Suleja, Niger State, said the ongoing reforms in all the agencies must be seen to their logical conclusions with 100% grades. The federal government says the full year 2024 budget performance report will be published by the end of September 2025. Says it would be done alongside consolidated report for the first and second quarter of 2025. Now, the Budget Office of the Federation, in a statement issued in Abuja by the Director General Taminu Yakubu, explained that the delay in releasing all budget implementation reports was linked to two key factors of verification and reconciliation processes and its transition to an extended fiscal framework. The Budget Office said the verification and reconciliation exercise took longer than anticipated owing to the scope and nationwide spread of appropriated projects. The Suicide Prevention Advocacy Working Group has called on the federal government to prioritize suicide prevention, warning that Nigerian records about 16,000 suicide deaths annually based on World Health Organization estimates. The appeal was made in Abuja during a courtesy visit to Senator Asuko Ekpeyong, who reaffirmed his commitment to pushing a suicide prevention bill currently before the Senate. Ekpeyong, who sponsored the bill, said it seeks to decriminalize attempt suicide and provide a framework for prevention, service delivery, helplines, and capacity building for mental health professionals. The bill passed first reading in February. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has urged Nigerian youths to partner with the armed forces and other stakeholders in addressing the country's growing security and socio-economic challenges. Speaking at a civil society summit in Abuja, the General Musa, represented by Commodore Rotimi Oderemi, urged young Nigerians to take ownership of the fight against emerging threats, including cybercrime, terrorism, oil theft, electricity and telecom theft, piracy, illegal mining, deforestation, violent extremism, and human rights violations. He noted that while the armed forces remain committed to defending the nation, lasting solutions to insecurity require the active participation of citizens, particularly the youth, whose creativity and energy represent a powerful tool for positive change. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, says the Nigerian Air Force is expanding global defense partnerships to enhance operational effectiveness and modernize its fleet. In a statement in Abuja by Force Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ehime Ejodame, Abubakar stated this during a week-long working visit to the People's Republic of China, highlighting one of the main reasons of the visit was meeting with the China National Aerotechnology Import and Export Corporation in Beijing on August 25th. Governor Mohammed Umaru Bago of Niger State has dissolved the State Executive Council with immediate effect. The announcement was made at the opening of the council meeting held at the Government House Chambers in Mina, as the governor restrained key principal officers in his office, including the secretary to the state government, chief of staff, deputy chief of staff, and other senior aides. He directed all respective permanent secretaries, while commending the outgoing commissioners for their contributions to the development of the state and wished them success in their future endeavors. The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, has charged all ships operating within Nigerian waters to ensure strict compliance with the provisions of the International Convention for the Prevention of Population from Ships, Annex 6. The Director General of Agency, Dr. Dayo Moperola, reaffirmed the agency's commitment to safeguarding Nigeria's maritime environment. He stressed that full compliance with prevention of population from ship Annex 6 is non-negotiable for all vessels as Nigeria continues to align its maritime operations with global best practices in safety, security, and environmental protection. Prevention of population from ships Annex 6, which Nigeria has domesticated under the Merchant Shipping Act 2007, specifically addresses the prevention of air pollution from ships. You are watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express returns, the federal government threatens to disconnect generation companies from power grid. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Express on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, baffled by insistent collapse of the national grid, the federal government has issued an order mandating all electricity generation companies connected to the grid to implement free governor control access. Their generating units, warning that non-compliance will attract heavy penalties, including disconnection from the grid. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, the order will take effect on September 1st, 2025. In power generation, a governor is a control system that regulates the speed or output of a turbine or generator. The federal government says many federal workers are unable to access its housing loan schemes because they have mortgaged their salaries through multiple loans from commercial lending agencies. Now, the executive secretary of the federal government Staff Housing Loans Board, Hajia Ahmed, disclosed this at the permanent secretary's quarterly forum for union leaders organized by the Service Welfare Office. Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation. Recently, Ahmed explained that the heavy loan deductions from workers' salaries make them ineligible for housing loans. Still on, the federal government and the Nigerian Labour Congress have resolved a dispute over workers' pension funds following a meeting with the National Pension Commission. The meeting, led by the National Pension Commission Director General Omolola Olawuron, marked the first official interaction with the Labour Congress since assuming office in July 2024. The union said added the engagement followed weeks of escalation pressure from the country's biggest labour organization. The pension regulator rejected the claims of missing funds and assured that workers' pensions were safe and secure. On the foreign news now, at least 800 people have been killed and 2,500 injured after an earthquake struck eastern Afghanistan. The United States Geological Survey says a magnitude 6 earthquake struck just before midnight local time in eastern Afghanistan near the border with Pakistan. Homes made of mud and wood collapsed as helicopters were sent in to evacuate the injured. Meanwhile, aftershocks reports were felt in neighboring Pakistan and as far away as India. Yemen's Houthi rebels say they have fired a missile at a tanker in the Red Sea days after their prime minister was killed in an Israeli attack. The Iran-backed rebels who sank 2 tankers in July, and they targeted the Liberian flag Scarlet Ray, claiming a direct hit. According to maritime security company Ambrey, the United Kingdom's maritime trade operators said the attack missed its target. Russian President Vladimir Putin has blamed the West for igniting the war in Ukraine, insisting Moscow's assault was provoked by years of Western provocations. Speaking at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit in the Chinese city of Tianjin, Putin accused the North Atlantic Treaty Organization of destabilizing the region and dismissed claims that Russia triggered the war. Russia responded to the revolution by annexing Crimea and backing separatists in eastern Ukraine, leading to a conflict that has left tens of thousands dead and devastated large parts of the country. In sports stories now, the Super Eagles camp will open on Monday in Uyo Akwa Ibom State capital for the 2026 World Cup qualifying matches against Rwanda and South Africa, just as the Rwandans are billed to arrive in Nigeria on Tuesday ahead of Saturday's clash. Nigeria will face Rwanda in a must-win clash on Saturday before traveling to battle Bafana in another crucial clash 3 days later. After 6 matches, the Super Eagles are 4th in their qualifying Group C with 7 points, 6 points behind South Africa, who led the group with 13 points. Organizers of the annual National Cup Golf Tournament have confirmed that 2025 edition of the competition will tee off on Saturday, September 20th at the Ikoyi Club 1938 in Lagos. The event, which was put together by the Ikoyi Golf Community Nigerian Association, is made at commemorating Nigeria's independence anniversary, as well as providing competition for elite players, networking opportunities, and youth development initiatives. Chairman of the organizing committee, Wale Onalakbo, stated that the Nigerian Cup is more than a tournament. It is a national celebration of unity, excellence, and sportsmanship. Nottingham Forest have terminated the contract of forward Emmanuel Dennis as part of their summer clearout. The Nigeria International 27 is not in Nuno Espirito Santos' plans, although the manager also faces an uncertain future. Dennis did not play in any of their pre-season games and has been left out of their Premier League games so far. As Global TV News Express comes to an end, here is a recap of our top stories again. On Global TV News Express, we brought to you that President Bola Tinubu has assured Nigerians that his government is resolute on delivering the dividends of democracy as promised when he took over office. In business, we brought to you that baffled by the insistent collapse of the national grid, the federal government has issued an order mandating all electricity generation companies connected to the grid to implement free governor control assets. They're generating units, warning that non-compliance will attract heavy penalties, including disconnection from the grid. And on the foreign scene, Russian President Vladimir Putin has blamed the West for igniting the war in Ukraine, insisting Moscow's assault was provoked by years of Western provocations. And finally, in sports, we brought to you that the Super Eagles camp will open on Monday in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State Capital for the 2026 World Cup qualifying matches against Rwanda and South Africa, just as Rwandans are billed to arrive in Nigeria on Tuesday ahead of Saturday's clash. And that's it on News Express. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @GlobalTVNG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good evening.